Okay, good morning, everybody. As we start the chitas of the day, we start in we are holding, today is Wednesday, the fourth reading. Sorry, I got the wrong thing. At the Tanya over here. The fourth reading in the portion of Bahalotcha, which is holding on chapter 9 in the book of Numbers, chapter 9, verse number 15. So the verse just starts as follows. And on the day the Mishkan was erected, the cloud covered the Mishkan. Which has a tent of testimony. And in the evening it was over the Mishkan, like appearance of fire, until the morning. You imagine being living at that time and watching this unbelievable presence of God in the middle of the encampment of the Jewish people. This was an unbelievable thing. The Mishkan served as a tent over the tablets of testimonies. So that was the most important part of the Mishkan, was the Aron, with the tablets and the 10 Commandments. And that was the main part of the Mishkan. The Holy of Holies of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle, was the ark and the 10 Commandments. Verse number 16. So it was always. The cloud covered it in the daytime, and it looked like fire, appearance of fire at nighttime. Verse 17. When the cloud would uplift from the tent, so the Jewish people knew that it's time to move, time to travel. They traveled in the desert. For the 38 years, they made 42 stops in the desert. So the Jewish people would start to travel. And where the cloud would rest, that's where the Jewish people encamped. So they followed the cloud. Instead of following the yellow brick road, they followed the cloud. The cloud departed, and the Targum Remnants, Talkusa, departed. Similarly, the cloud departed. It would have been incorrect to write Lefia Leisa Anan, Vahaland, for it would not be an expression of the naming departure, but sprouting forth. That's grammar. This is a grammar concept, and Rashi explains why it says Helois Anan, when the cloud departed. Verse 18, on the bidding of the Lord, the Jewish people traveled, and on the bidding of the Lord, they encamped. As long as the cloud hovered over the Mishkan, they encamped. So Rashi says at the bidding of the Lord, they traveled. We learned in a brisa. When the Israelites traveled, the cloud would fold and spread itself over the tribe of Judah like a beam. They blew a tekiah, a long blast, a teruah, a series of short blasts, and another tekiah, like a Rosh Hashanah, but it did not move until Moshe declared, Kuma Hashem, rise up, the Lord. And then the band of camp of Judah would travel. So there was a whole, as you see, there was a system. So the cloud would fold up from the camp, would come to the tribe of Yehuda, which was a front camp, and then they would make a blast of the shofar, as the Torah is soon to say, and the Jewish people knew that it's time to pack up. As soon as the Israelites encamped, the pillar of cloud would mushroom upwards and spread itself over the tribe of Yehuda like a canopy. It would not depart until Moshe returned. Return, O Lord, to the myriads of Israel of thousands. This is what really is meant according to the Lord's word through Moshe Rabbeinu. So ultimately, it was the cloud that God showed the Jewish people that it's time to move or that it's time to encamp. Also, over here we see Al Pi Hashem Yisrael, that you always should say, when there's an expression, when you say, ask somebody, ask, well, I'll see you later, you say, with the help of God. always to go when coming and going to say, I'll see you with the help of God. I'm coming with the help of God. I always say, Be'ezrat Hashem, with the help of God. I hope God will meet Hashem, etc. Always say it in the concept of thank God, see with God's help, etc. Verse 19. And when the cloud lingered over the Mishkan for many days, and the children of Israel kept the charge of the Lord, and they would stay in their place. Verse 20. Sometimes the cloud remains several days over the Mishkan. Doesn't make a difference whether it was several days or it was several months or even several years. According to the Lord, according to God's bidding, they camped. And according to God's bidding, they traveled. Verse 21. Sometimes it would happen that the cloud was there only from the evening till morning. And the cloud would lift up in the morning, and they traveled. Or there was 1 or 2 days. And the cloud would depart and they would travel. Verse 22, whatever, 2 days or a month, a year, that the cloud lingered over the Mishkan. The Shkeinalav, Yachmesa, Valayisa, the Jewish people would encamp and they would not travel. Ubaloisai, Yiso, and they would lift up, they would travel. Verse 23, Al Pi Hashem Yachnu, Al Pi Hashem Yiso, on the Lord's bidding they would camp, on the Lord's bidding they would travel. The Shamru, Al Pi Hashem Be'ad Moshe, and the word of the Lord, they kept the word of the Lord through Moshe Rabbeinu. Verse chapter 10, verse number 1. God spoke to Moses saying, verse number 2, make yourself 2 silver trumpets. Cats. Mishksha tasa isa made from beaten out gold. That will be for the calling of the people. And for the departure of the camps. So make yourself trumpets, so they should blow before you like a king, as it says, the king among that they were the king among Yeshurun. They were announcement of a king, like these announce a king with trumpets. Rashi says you have to make it for yourself. Moshe Rabbeinu had to pay for these trumpets. You should make them for use and not no one else. Lemikra Eda. When you wish to speak to the members of the Sanhedrin, the court, and the rest of the people, you summon them, blow with the trumpets, and you'll summon them to come together. At the time the camps are due to depart, blow on them as a signal. It follows that they traveled at the behest of the three at God's bidding. By the word of Moshe, by the call, so it was God's bidding, by the word of Moshe, Moshe said, okay, it's time to blow, and they would blow the shofar. Beaten mitzvah, it's to be made out of a single block by banging out with a hammer. Verse 3, we talk about when you blow them, the entire congregation shall assemble to you at the entrance of the Mishkan. So when you blow on them, when we blow on them, it's a signal for the congregation to assemble. Rashi says, and it says the entire congregation shall assemble to you at the tent, at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Verse 4, if you blow with them one time, then the princes will come to you. Rashi Alpha Yisrael. Rashi says if you blow with them one time, it's a signal for the princes to assemble. And it says the princes shall assemble to you. Their meeting point was also at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And this is all brought in the Gemara. Verse 5. Got them through, and then but if you blow it through a series of short blasts. So one blast, that's when the Nesiim have to come. You do a series of two. Trua, that's a trua. then the camps will know that it's time to travel. So Rashi says a series of short blasts. The signal for the camps to travel was a tekiah, teruah, tekiah, like an Rosh Hashanah. Tekiah, teruah, tekiah. Katem teruah shenis, and when you blow a second teruah, with Nosar Machnas came on, and then the camps encamped to the south shall travel. Teruah Yitkolim are saying they shall blow a teruah for their travel. When you assemble the congregation, to go v'loiteru, you to blow a tekiah, a long blast, but not a teruah. So Rashi says, because it says you shall be used by you to summon the congregation and to announce the parsha of the camps, just as the summoning of congregation is done by two priests, and with both trumpets, as it says, you shall blow with them. So the traveling camps were blown by them. I might think that just as with the departure of the camps, it was blown tekiah, teruah, tekiah. So when summoning the congregation, he blew a tekiah, teruah, tekiah. And now there would be no difference between the signal of summoning the congregation and the departure of the camps. Scripture therefore teaches. But when assembling the congregation, indicating that no teruah is blown to summon the congregation. And the same applies by the convening of the leaders. So there was a signal, there is a signal for all three. Summoning congregation was with two. Convening the princes is with one. And neither there were only tekiah, two tekiahs to summon the congregation, one tekiah to summon the leaders, and then tekiah, teruah, tekiah means a long blast, short blast, and a long blast was to time to travel. And that was the signals that was used. It must have been loud enough blasts. Verse 8, in the descendants of Aaron and the priest shall blow the trumpets. This is going to be for you a everlasting law. You can go today, they made the trumpets, an organization called Ateret Kohanim in Yerushalayim. They made the trumpets, they have it ready when Mashiach comes. They're going to blow these trumpets. Verse number 9. If you go out to war in your land against the adversaries that oppress you, you shall blow a teruah with these trumpets. In the sky till Hashem will remember before the Lord your God. And you will save from your enemies. On the days of your rejoicing, on your festivals, on the days of the new moon, and you shall blow these trumpets. On your ascent offerings, on your peace offerings. There'll be a remembrance by blowing these trumpets. Ani Hashem Elokeichem, I am God, your God. Rashi says, because these verses are speaking with communal offerings, that with communal offerings they used to blow the trumpets. Ani Hashem Elokeichem, I am God, your God. From here we learn that on the New Year festival, Rosh Hashanah, the verses proclaiming God's kingship, Malchus, are recited with the verses of remembrance, Zechrenis. The verse relating to Shofris. So there was three things, Mircham and Rosh Hashanah, coming up on us pretty quickly. We have the Musaf. We have the concept of kingship, to make God a king upon us. The concept of remembrance, that Rosh Hashanah is called Yom HaZikaron, the day of remembrance. And Rosh Hashanah is also called the day of blowing the shofar. So you have it all in this pasuk. The day of right. It says, Katem is shofar. Zikaron is the day of remembrance. Ani Hashem Elokechem, I am God your God, God is the king over you. So you have the concept of Rosh Hashanah is mentioned also in this pasuk, Rashi says. And this is all brought down in Sefer in the Gemara. That completes the Chumash of the day. Okay, guys, we're going to the Tanya of the day. Again, this is very Kabbalistic, and takes a lot of learning this, and well, we're going to do it quickly. So, really, we need to work on this. We'll make sure as we are learning this on Sundays. So on Sundays we'll go more in depth into what the Alter Rebbe is saying. And today, these days, the chitas is we're not going to go here for an hour class and try to explain every concept that the Alter Rebbe is saying. It's more, we're going to read it. You need to read it a couple of times and soak in the holy words. So here we go. Alter Rebbe continues. Today we continue the chapter 5 of Shara Yichud Emunah. We're holding chapter 5 Wednesday, the 5th chapter of the of that teaching. Certainly, just consider the concept of that all of the creation came through the process of tzimtzums, the process of contractions, which enables the created beings to believe that they enjoy an independent form of existence, right? That gives the capability. When God came into a vessel, the light of God, the energy God comes into a vessel, and the vessel, which is a garment, hides, so to say, the true energy of God, doesn't let the what comes forth is something that is, so to say, a diluted energy that comes into the human being, and that gives the human being the capability to have, or to feel at least, that he has his own identity, even though it's not true, because ultimately everything comes from the energy of God. So he doesn't have his own independent form of existence. We all exist because God exists, but the human being doesn't feel the existence of God within it. He doesn't feel that existence. He feels his existence is, his natural existence. Whatever gives him, whatever he feels, the person gives him existence. His food, his breathing, whatever it might be. So we feel that we're our own existence. So he explains, our sages of blessed memory said, originally, plan A was that arose in God's thought to create the world through the attribute of stern judgment. Through the attribute of tzimtzum and gevurah. The Eibishter wanted to purely clear the world. That he would clearly create the world through the attribute of justice. He saw, however, that in this manner the world would not endure. So he associated the attribute of mercy with in creation. That's what the sages say. So that sounds like a little contradiction what we have been talking about. At first glance, this is incomprehensible. God desired the act with goodness. We've been learning the whole time that the Eibush created the world through chesed, through kindness. Over here, it sounds like the opposite. To treat his creatures with benevolence. Why then did he first plan to create the world with the attribute of strict justice? Sounds like a contradiction to what we've been learning until now. According to what we explained above, this is entirely understandable. In order for created beings to believe that they possess an independent existence, there must be, so that's what it means. The Eibishter wanted to love humanity, understood the greatness and what he wanted for human beings. So therefore, the Eibishter understood to begin with that he needs to create the world through tzimtzum, justice, through contractions, gevurah, severity, because that's what he wanted. He wanted that humans should feel their own existence, and he understood that if he's going to create the world only through chesed, It would never. People would not feel their own existence. We call them in the world tough love. If you give somebody everything, that he feels that and he cannot. He always needs you, the person that's giving him. So he'll never feel like he's an independent person. You want your children that they become independent. You don't want them to constantly need you. They need to become self-made people. They just don't want the same thing for humanity. You know, if God would give the world chesed, then people always will be like robots. Everything comes from they will feel like everything comes from God. We don't need to do anything. We'll sleep in bed a whole day. No, God's gonna give us. So what do I need to do anything? God's gonna give us everything. No. Therefore God said no. I want people to feel that they're accomplishing something. It's up to them to be successful. And therefore, I'm going to create the world midsadin with the attribute of gevura, of contraction. I'm going to hide my chesed. That's a good thing. That was an unbelievable thing. God, however, desired to create a being maintain that they possess independent existence in order for them to be able to serve Him and ultimately be rewarded for their service. Thus, simply gevura and symptoms that enable them to realize the ultimate purpose of creation. The original plan of creation, therefore, was that it should be dominated by the attribute of stern judgment. But you know what happens if you go stern judgment? Whenever God saw that He created the world in that manner would not endure, He tempered it with the attribute of mercy. So He tempered it with the attribute of mercy. Why indeed would the world not be able to endure otherwise? Because the creation had come under such auspicious auspices alone. The life force of holiness would have been utterly hidden, and you would not feel God at all. So if God would do kindness, He would overtake you. If He would have been total severity, total hiddenness, you would not have any relationship with God at all. So therefore, God mixed into the concept of mercy. According to the spiritual task of accordingly, the spiritual task of revealing godliness in such a world would have been inordinately odorous. God therefore involved the attribute of mercy in creation of the world, so that the holiness and godliness would be revealed within it. So that's the three attributes: kindness, severity, mercy. In Hebrew, it's chesed, gevura, tiferet, mercy. That's the three patriarchs. Abraham is chesed, kindness. Isaac is gevura, and Yaakov is mercy. And who has the power to reveal that? I know. Galus, the lakus of the Atzadikim. That is, that he combined it with the attribute of mercy means the revelation within the world of godliness and the supernal pathos to tzaddikim, and the signals and the signs and the miracles that are mentioned in the Torah. So it stated in the previous chapter that both the expansive and the creative attribute of chesed and the concealment and the constrictive attribute of gevura transcends the grasp of the created being. Here the Alter Rebbe adds that each attribute transcends even the comprehension of the souls that proceed from the level of Atzilus. Even the lofty soul as Moshe, which is the soul of the world of emanation, cannot fathom the supernal attributes which is one with God Himself. So this is going to be a little bit Kabbalistic. Regarding the fact that the attribute of Chesed and Gevurah transcends intellect, it says in the Zohar, above in the side of the supernal holiness, meaning in the world of Atzilus, which is far superior than the three lower worlds of Bri, Yitzid, Asiyah, there is the right and left, namely Chesed and Gevurah. It's the Yemina, it's a smell and Chesed and Gevurah. Pirush, the statement was surely not written simply to inform us that Chesed and Gevurah exists, for we already know that. Rather, this means that both Gevurah as well as Chesed are attributes of godliness that transcends the intellect and comprehension of created beings. The fact that they are supernal attributes also help us understand how they're able to combine when by definition they are opposites within the side of the supernal holiness. There's no dissonance, God forbid. So that's why Oiseh Shalom, we say it in davening. God makes peace between opposites above. Because when these attributes are in the presence of God, they're one, which is hard to comprehend. Within the side of supernal holiness, there's no where all components are complementary and integrated. So Chesed and Gevurah are both the same. At that level, Chesed and Gevurah, though opposed by nature, coexist and cojoin as two opposites within a unity. Within a unit. This is possible because of their complete and total union with God. The him and his attributes are one in the world of Atzilus. Both Chesed and Gevurah being thus wholly united with him. And that's what even Moshe couldn't understand. Couldn't understand it. He said, Moshe Rabbeinu said, why are you being evil? Why are you being judgmental with these people? He couldn't understand that the Eibush is no judgmental by God. There's no Chesed and Gevurah by God. He couldn't understand that. He thought there was a concept that there's Chesed by God and there's Gevurah by God. It's not. A God, it's all one entity. Hard for us to understand. How is kindness and severity the same thing? Because it sounds like opposite. Kindness is kindness, severity is severity. How they're one? And God, they're one. So if Moshe, even though I'm saying this, if Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't comprehend it, how am I supposed to comprehend it? Even the comprehension of Moshe, our teacher, peace be upon him, in its prophetic vision, did not extend to the will of children. He couldn't understand it. So human beings can't understand how good and bad are the same thing. The only way we can do that is on Purim. Purim. You have to drink Adala Yada. So, the Purim, you're supposed to get drunk so you don't know the difference between Mordechai and Haman. But how is it possible for any human being to say that there's no difference between Mordechai, the righteous man, and Haman, the wicked man? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not possible. There's no way you can bring these two guys together. Because it is impossible. But in the supernal, because God created both Haman and Mordechai. God created both Esav and Yaakov. He created them. So that means God wanted the Esav and the Yaakov. He wanted the Haman and the Mordechai. It says that's why Kabbalah says that's why Haman made a gorel. He made a lottery, because a lottery is like concept of chance. It goes above understanding. So he said, "How can I get the Jews if I go above comprehension?" All concepts. We're trying. We have to go to a place where there's all unity in that place, where darkness and light are the same, which even Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't comprehend, and that's why Moshe Rabbeinu challenged God when he saw bad things, and that's why we challenge God when we see bad things happening to people, because we don't comprehend. How do you put the two together? And we're not supposed to comprehend it in essence. We're not. If we were supposed to comprehend it, we'd comprehend it. But that even Moshe Rabbeinu can't comprehend it, because that's an expression. My thought is not your thought. The prophet says, "My machshava will never be your machshava. The thought of God will never be the thought of man." The only way Moshe Rabbeinu can understand the attributes of God is only when it comes to the world of creation. And even in the world of Bria, in the world of creation, even then his comprehension, I'm sorry, of the world of Atzilus did not extend to these two attributes of Chesed and Gevurah. But only insofar as they were previously clothed in the attributes which are lower than the levels of themselves. The attribute Netzer, victory, Hoyt, splendor, Yesod, foundation. So we know that each attribute, Chesed, goes lower into Netzach, and Gevurah goes into Hoyt. The attribute of Netzach being merely an offshoot of Chesed, and Hoyt, an offshoot of Gevurah. So that through them, Chesed and Gevurah come down to the attribute of Yesod, which in turn transmits into attribute of Malchus. So if you see, if you need a picture, I don't have it right now, the picture of the 10 Sfirot. So you have the right side Chachma, the left side Bina, the middle is Das. The right side is Chesed, underneath Chachma. The left side is Gevurah, underneath Bina, and they come down into Tiferes, the middle. Then again, the right side is Netzach, the left side is Hoid, and they come down like a Sega, like a 3 points. They come down like a V. They come down into Yesod, which goes down into Malchus. So that means Chachma and Bina, wisdom and understanding come into Das. They create Chesed and Gevurah, right side and left side. So Chachma comes down into Chesed. Chachma is connected to Chesed, which is connected lower to Netzach, victory. So that means really to understand Chachma and Chesed, you have to understand what victory is. And you'll understand it actually through victory, you'll understand Netzach. And if you understand the attribute of Netzach, you'll understand the upper two. So too, Bina understanding comes into Gevurah, to severity, which comes into beauty, Hoid, glory. So you understand Gevurah through Hoid. So it's very hard to comprehend what is Midas HaChesed. What I mean is that to understand God's attribute of Chesed is very difficult for humanity to comprehend. And to understand even at the attribute of Gevurah is very difficult for humanity, even Moshe Rabbeinu, to comprehend. Moshe Kosev B'Shat HaNevuah is explained in the portal of prophecy, in Kabbalah, the Zohar considered the level of Moshe's prophecy. Let's just roll on. It's only the tzaddikim in Gan Eden who are subject to Spashas Chayv Adishtal, which they mean say L'Chesed. That's why in Gan Eden, after 120 years, a tzaddik goes up to Gan Eden, he comprehends the light. When he try to comprehend in this world, in Gan Eden, he has a greater comprehension. When his soul leaves his body, he has the capability to have a greater understanding in the attributes of Chesed in heaven. And this that they comprehend, a greater understanding of the attribute of kindness of God in heaven, in Gan Eden, in paradise, that is the food of the righteous in Gan Eden. That's what they live on. The righteous in this world, what do they live on? The love of God and the fear of God. As we learned, the tzaddik's life is his love of God and fear of God. But where does he actually get to eat it, so to say? Where does he actually get to taste it? Is in Gan Eden. So who Muslim and Shamas thinking this is the food for the souls of the righteous who engage in this world in learning Torah for the sake of Torah. From the diffusion of these two attributes, a firmament, meaning, or a makev, a transcendent, encompassing degree of illumination, it spread over the souls in Gan Eden. And in this firmament that empowers them to receive this diffusion. But I'm not going to read it because it's Kabbalistic. This firmament is called Raza Deraita, the secrets of the Torah, the mystical dimensions of the Torah. I tell you, within this firmament is the secret of the 22 letters of the Torah, which derive from the higher level that the rational and comprehensive aspects of the real secrets of the Torah is revealed in that Gan Eden, which was given as an expression of these two attributes. The Ziv, as it says, Mimini Eish Das Leimer. It says, from my right hand he gave unto them the fiery law, the fire of war, the law of fire. The right hand represents chesed. Of fiery, Eish, alludes to the element of gevura that is presented in the Torah. So the Eibishter gave with his right hand chesed. He gave him the Torah, gave him both the two attributes, the attribute of chesed and the attribute of gevura. Merkia zeh noitiv talas mother for this firmament, from the transcendental illumination drops dew, symbolic to the esoteric insights of the Torah, as food for the souls. Meaning, an pnimi, an inner light, a degree of illumination that can be internalized, comprehended, issues forth from the firmament, being a comprehensible this level of perception likened to food, which is indigested internally, the neshama in heaven, in Gan Eden, has this kind of a connection. It's a knowledge of the secret of the 22 letters of the Torah. Because this firmament, the secret level of knowledge, and the dew that issues forth from it, is the knowledge of the secret of the 22 letters of the Torah. The Torah is the food for the souls in Gan Eden, paradise. And the commandments are their garments. This is all explained in the Zohar, in Vayakel, page 2. You can look it up, page 209 and 210. And in Eitz Chaim, Portal 44, chapter 3. Now, I'm not going to, you can go here as a whole explanation. We're not going to do this. You can go to Chabad.org, look this up, this explanation. I will do this in Mitchell. We'll do it on a Sunday. We'll go through this explanation that's given over here. But for the chitas of the day, I'm going to end it right over here. This ends the Tanya of the day. You got a boost of Kabbalistic teaching. And as I say always, when it comes to these Kabbalistic teachings of Tanya, you should learn it a couple of times. Go to Chabad.org. Go to type in Tanya of the day. And it'll come up what we learned right now, and you'll be able to read it again and again and again. And as the Gemara says, when it comes to the learning of Torah, you need to learn something 101 times. Today is the 15th day of the month, which is chapter 77, 78 in Tehillim, chapter 77, 78. And if you do those two chapters, you've done the Tehillim of the day. I wish you all a wonderful, beautiful, happy, healthy, gorgeous, phenomenal day. Have a great day, everybody.